Thanks, Madam Chair. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. I want to go in a little bit of a different direction. I am a little bit unique. I think I'm the only one who sits on the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee and the Military Construction VA Subcommittee. So the issue of health as it relates to all of you and active duty and as it connects to veterans is important. And one of the things, and I've tried to look through a lot of your testimony, it's very technical. We're talking about records and all of that. I want to talk to you about obesity rates. From what I can gather, the obesity rates for active duty are going up, 15.8% a couple of years back, and now 17.4%. In the Navy, it's 22%, Air Force is 18%, Army is 17%. Males between 35 and 44 years old have almost a 30% obesity rate. And when you look at the increase in blood pressure and diabetes and heart disease, all of the stuff you know better, way better than I do, this is a problem that we're not even talking about. And it's got a relatively simple or simpler solution than everything we've just talked about. And for the last few years, my staff and I have been trying to dig in on the food that is being fed to our soldiers, the fact that the commissaries and cafeterias are closed and people are working late, and the only thing left on the whole base is a Burger King that's open, and so they go and do that over the course of many years. Now, we need a big strategy to reverse the obesity rates. And, I mean, I think most people would be shocked to think that we watch Tom Brady and we see these high-performing athletes and we look at their diets and we look at their lifestyles, and we are spending billions of dollars to have high-performing men and women serving our country, performing at peak levels in very high-pressured situations. And for us to have an obesity rate that's creeping up to 20% and zero strategy on how to fix it, that's a real problem. And then you come back and you want more money for this and more money for that. And there's all kinds of research going on and reversing type 2 diabetes with food as medicine and all kinds of innovative things that are happening in the real world that we have got to make sure that it's getting into the military. Now, here's the connection for us who sit at 30,000 feet. The diabetes rate for veterans is 1 in 5. The diabetes rate for average Americans, 1 in 10. So here we're blowing all this money. I've been on ships before, and you walk in, and it's all the sugary cereals. Now, look, I'm not a prude on this stuff. I'm an 80%er, right? 80% of the time, you do what's right, you work out, you eat healthy 80% of the time. But we can't have this, folks. This is unacceptable that we're going to continue. Is there any strategy that's in place, Mr. Secretary, that is addressing this in an aggressive way?
So we have, in part, working with your office, I know last year, have been putting together what I would call more of a framework or a skeleton in terms of what would be the key components of a strategy. As you mentioned, part of it in terms of on the health side is, what are the health guidelines and health recommendations that then feed into how our installations are operated and the decisions made about what types of food, access to that, and where we have not completed that is that closure, that link between the medical side and how we are operating our infrastructure, so to speak, in delivery of food. So there is more work to be done on that, and you make very good points in terms of, part of lethality is our service members and their health and their ability to do their job, and this is a negative impact on that.
Well, it's a waste of money. is what it is. I mean, it's inefficient. It's obviously, it goes to production. And they go into the VA system, and they have diabetes. And then diabetes, when you look at the diabetes with any other sickness, just jacks up the cost. It extends your stays in the hospital. It complicates any other issue that you may have. If you have to go to surgery or if you've got a heart problem and diabetes, it just makes it that much worse. And so now I'll leave here and I'll go sit in another committee at the VA and talk about how we don't have any money. And so we've got to start seeing these systems as integrated. And it's same, you know, we could have a whole discussion on K through 12 school. When I walk into a school and these kids are getting a Rice Krispie treat and a thing of chocolate milk, and they start their day out with about 80 grams of sugar, and then they're on the Medicaid program, and they end up getting diabetes with the public money that we spent to buy them Rice Krispie treats and chocolate milk, and then the public money we spend to take care of them on a Medicaid. American people are sick of this. This does not make any sense. And I want the military in the United States to be the leader in this. So I only have probably a little bit of time left, and I would just like to give it to the Surgeon Generals if anybody, if one of you have a comment on this.
Sir, I'll be real quick, Mr. Ryan. Yep. Within the Army, we have a very pragmatic approach to the health of the force, and we have many programs from Go Green, Healthy Choices, Spartan, Thor that get after the eating as well as the activity as well as the entire life process or approach to living, and then our holistic health and fitness, going after the spiritual, physical, and mental well-being of our soldiers, the ACFT, APFT, the wellness centers, all designed to, one, educate our soldiers, but we got programs that are also inculcating this into the units, not just special forces, but treating every soldier as an athlete.
No, I'd certainly agree. Very similarly, in the Navy, we have a similar program. Certainly, we understand the importance of wellness. I think, sir, one of the points you make are the social determinants of health that we really have to get after, and in the environments in which our sailors, Marines, and soldiers live. So we are working with commissaries, for example, with our dietitians to provide guidance so that it's available in the commissary as individuals purchase their groceries. So, sir, we agree with you 100%, and we are working very hard to get.
We got a lot of work to do, and
yes,
this
sir.
committee is going to push every single one of you to make this happen.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.